Welcome everybody to podcast, Bolts and Hose Podcast, episode
57.
57.
Yes.
Sí?
Mm-hmm.
Muy bueno.
Yeah. I think we look up there, bro.
Oh,
we're doing a little something different. We've got our computer down here where we can see our beautiful, lovely, handsome faces. And then we got the camera up there.
We have our Bolts and Hose behind us.
Trying a little something different today. This is actually a sticker, an acrylic sticker.
It's a fat head. Remember those fat heads?
Yeah. Have you ever tried to put a sticker this large on the wall?
Every day? That's why there's all these
there's creases and all kinds of stuff. You can't really see it in there, though.
It's okay. It happens.
What are we drinking today, Bryce?
So, you brought some barrel bourbon.
I went to the liquor store last night. Andrew wanted a bottle of wine. So while I was in there, I said, hey, we have a podcast tomorrow. Let me see if I can come up with something different.
It tastes like Christmas.
Yeah, but a lot of whiskeys do. They put that.
This is very sweet.
That nutmeg, cinnamon type thing in there. Those are typical spices to go into a barrel of bourbon.
So it's a cask finish. That's where you get the flavor. So they're doing it in a cask. They call it an amburana.
Not a casket.
No, a cask.
Yeah. What's a cask?
A casket or a cask? A cask is like a barrel,
It's
right?
a barrel. Why didn't you just say a barrel?
Because they call it a cask. I think you sound cooler when you say cask.
You're right. It does.
Yes, cask finished.
This is barrel, Barrell.
You know, I've had one of these before. I think it was the blue label, and I was not impressed. It wasn't very good. This is actually, it's got a good flavor. It's very complex.
There we go. And it's a 5-year barrel bourbon.
Austin was reading us the ingredients or the notes, and he said nutmeg, and vanilla,
and cinnamon. He mentioned cinnamon too. So was that it, Austin? That was it.
It's good. It's a you know, like I said,
I like it. It's a nice little sipping whiskey. I don't want to do more than one, but I like it.
I'd probably do 3.
At one sitting?
Drinking one bourbon is like kissing your sister. I mean, it's kind of a waste of time.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't even have a sister.
You're right. You don't have a sister either.
Did they teach you that in Champagne?
Yeah. That was we're just going down.
We are. Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about today, Mr. Kolb?
We have some great parts.
We got some cool parts.
Yep.
Yep.
We wanted to talk about a technical topic.
This is going to be a hot topic. Everyone you talk to about this has a different opinion.
I will admit, I thought about this topic and I said, we should talk about this. And I thought it was going to be an easy one. I thought this was kind of cut and dry. But as we talked about it as a group, there was a little bit of debate.
Heavy hex bolt versus a hex bolt versus a finished hex bolt versus a cap screw.
There's a finished pattern and a heavy pattern on nuts and also the head of a headed hexagonal bolt.
So heavy is a larger, thicker head and or nut, right? Pattern.
Yeah. And generally, when you're talking about nuts, they will have a higher proof load because you're talking about a taller.
It's girthier.
It's girthier.
Yeah. It's thicker.
Yeah.
You got more to it.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. So, but we get this all the time, right?
But when you go to the bolt, the headed bolt, you have things like washer faces, and you've got thicker heads, and you've got a point-to-point dimension and flat-to-flat dimension, and those are difference between the finished pattern and the heavy pattern.
So I just grabbed 2 bolts.
Those are the same diameter and thread pitch.
So 5/8 11. Obviously, one's a longer length, but the heads are a little different. So this is from one of our suppliers, just an off-the-shelf L7 heavy hex bolt, or heavy hex cap screw. See, that's the thing is. It's got a washer face, so I think you consider it a cap screw if it has a washer face. So a heavy cap screw versus a standard cap screw. So you can see that the heavy has a wider flats and corners, right? They have the washer face.
They both have a washer pad underneath the head. So what that is almost like a built-in washer. Yeah. So what that does is distributes the load so that it's not point loaded around the corners and it doesn't get rounded. It just creates a small little groove on the top of that, if you can see it.
The interesting thing to me is while I was researching this, because people call them a lot of different things, right? That was a good one.
You can see that groove there. There you go. You can see the built-in washer there, right?
So, when I was looking this up, we always ask a question, right? Like what exactly are you heavy finish pattern? But I think it's more of the application. So
I don't think that's true.
I think it is. I
disagreed with you when you made this point.
Okay, then we're going to disagree on this one because I think a cap screw is it's used in like machinery. It's going into a tapped hole typically. as a bolt, though, is using a nut to tighten something down. So we can definitely disagree. I would love to hear the opinion of our loyal listeners and our Cracker Jack sales crew over here.
Yeah, I think we have a little bit of dissent.
Austin thinks he knows all about this.
Yeah.
And now he's being really
He
quiet.
doesn't really want to come over and talk.
Yeah,
about
when we
it.
brought this up earlier, he was the loudest one in the room. But now he has his head down.
I would argue a little bit with what you're talking about, because regardless of what the dimensions are on the head, regardless of, whether it's got a washer pad or not, it can still be applied. In a blind hole, it can be applied with a nut. And I think there's no discernment in the industry when people buy one, whether they're going to use a nut on the end of it or not.
But so if you go by material grades, if you go by grade 2, grade 5, grade 8, those are typically like a standard hex cap screw. And those are not used in industrial or structural type situations. So those are going in machinery. It's a lighter application as opposed to a heavy hex bolt.
I think you're speaking in generalities right now.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to go into specifics, that's the whole point. Is this is a very general product. Right. So I think if a heavy,
but just to say in heavy applications, cap screws aren't used. I don't know that that's accurate.
I would agree. I mean, but if you were to take the majority of the cap screws that are made, they're going to be put into a general, machinery equipment type application. If you were to go in majority of the heavy pattern hex bolts, they're going to go into more of a structural or industrial type application.
I think it's the perfect topic to open up to the listeners.
I would love
and the viewers.
Yeah.
And hear some opinions.
I would love to hear
it. There's some people out there that would love to chastise us and prove that we're wrong.
One of the first episodes, I made a silly mistake on the graded material of a 2H nut, and I still hear about it to this day.
You do?
Yeah. So I would love to hear other people's opinions. And
we could have gone back and erased that episode or corrected it or something.
No way. We're human beings. We're imperfect.
Make mistakes.
We absolutely do.
And that's all part of the fun of this thing, right, Austin?
It's how we learn and get better at life. Chavez said he wanted to be on the podcast today. He's probably the closest one to us. He said he has a bunch of work orders. Everyone's so scared of podcasts. So we've had JB on the podcast. You did one podcast. We've had Austin on several. I think we've had Danny on a handful. So if anyone wants to come talk about a hex bolt, you're more than welcome to.
So we've had an exciting week. We're in the new shop right now, in the sales office, obviously. But we've had we're actually cutting some parts out there in the saw right now. We've got a couple of pieces of equipment that have come online. The Haas machines, the large mill and the large lathe were delivered. They were set on the floor. We've got electrical to both of them. We're just waiting on champions to come out here and hook them up and calibrate them and set them up. And we're going to be off to the races. So the shop is coming together.
It is. It really is. It's going to be fun.
And we got a cool little sales office here. We got a little putting green.
We had a putting contest today.
Yeah.
JB won. He took the first ever putting contest.
Trophy.
Yeah. So he wins nothing except for the bragging rights.
So the idea is we're going to take this to Vegas with us. So we'll have this as a prop for our Vegas stand.
We'll take the bags again.
Yeah.
So it'll just be like a
cutting green.
A backyard barbecue.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Let's talk about some parts, Bryce.
So I grabbed two. We're running a lot of the same parts that we always run. We had some collar bolts out there. We actually had some cool K500s that were not ready. K500 hex bolts that it didn't make sense. They weren't cool enough to show.
They were still round.
They were still round. Yeah. So I grabbed two parts. So I'll let you choose, big or small.
We got to go with the small one first because that big one is going to be.
It's going to take everything I got.
Yeah.
So show it. I'll let you guess what size it is.
Did we just make this, or did you pull this out of the sample bin?
No, we just made that. We just made 150 pieces.
Did we laser etch this?
Yeah.
Where did we laser etch it?
In your office.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chris keeps a laser etcher in his office.
Okay. So a long socket head cap screw. Come on, let's focus.
So guess the size.
There we go. I'm going to say 5/16, 18.
Technical difficulty.
Little technical difficulty. Okay, we're back to the socket head cap screw. And in case anybody missed it, Bryce asked me what size it was.
And he was exactly right.
I said 5/16, 18.
2.5 inches long.
There we go.
660D socket head cap screw. I think it's D, right?
It is D, I think.
I think
that's it, right? Sure. There, yeah.
660D socket, 150 pieces, standard turnaround. So not a whole lot to it, but a weird diameter, a little long.
It's a great part.
A286.
We specialize in these. We've always
them
done a
all
great
day,
job with
every
these.
day.
Yeah. There's a lot of these that are used. What is the type of customer this is going to, Bryce?
I think it's going in a variety of applications. I think its temperature and corrosion is going to be A286. And strength. When you have a stainless application, you need something a little stronger. You're going to roll with an A286 because, your standard, I think 304, 316 is 30-ish yield strength range. And this is going to be anywhere from 85 to 105 on the min yield. So it's just a much stronger bolt, a much stronger material than your stainless. Dude, we got these bozos in the background just giggling.
How many pieces is that?
That was 150 pieces.
Nice.
Yeah, 150 pieces.
Order.
That was a good part.
So the type of customer, though, OEM? Is it equipment manufacturer? What do you think of this?
I think ultimately that's going, I would guess, into a military application.
Okay.
Probably like either aerospace slash possibly defense. So somewhere you're seeing heat, somewhere you're seeing some corrosion offshore. So cool part.
Very good selection there.
Ready for number 2?
It's a big one. You want me to get it? You got it? Sure. If you need some help, let me know.
So this is not finished yet.
It's not hexed. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have the internal hex.
So
a big socket head cap screw.
Do you know what size on this?
I'm going to say 3.5.
3.5. Is it wrong?
Is it wrong?
3 inch. 3 inch is correct. What's the thread pitch?
4.5.
Nope.
4.
That is correct. So it's a 3 inch 4. How many pieces were this?
Or this.
8 was this. Is this 8? 6? 6 pieces? 6 pieces. 6,000 pieces. No, 6 pieces.
What size round bar do we have to start with?
4.5.
4.5.
It's always diameter times 1.5. So for B7?
Yeah. That's the way you guys source material.
What's the length?
Times 3.
10 inches under the head. This is a big boy.
Yeah.
Machine it off of the number. So you gotta, here, check this out too. I was gonna bring the key. So they actually machined a key just to verify the socket. But they haven't done it. So I thought it'd be kind of pointless. B7 material, 4140 heat treat.
Big chunky part. How much does that weigh, Bryce?
I'm gonna guess that's 20 pounds-ish. Maybe a little heavier, 22 and a half.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think a little over 20. Yeah.
But it's just that, it's a lot of turning, a lot of operations to it, hogging out the center of it.
There's a lot of metal that's wasted away.
What's that on
part? It is.
The center drill.
It is for the center drill. We put a live center right there just to stabilize it because you've got so much tool load that is pressing along this edge. And this is the length to width ratio is so long, you have to support this end. So that's the reason why we use the live center.
So what was that? A quick turnaround?
Yeah.
Couple days?
Yeah.
4 to 5 days. New customer, huh? Really? Don't say who it was, because I know people out there watch our podcast just to
Either make fun of us
because customers.
Yeah, or make fun of us because we blurted out the wrong material.
We had a customer come on the other day. He called me and said he had 3 people reach out to him and said that they can make specialty bolts too.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
There's a lot of people out there that do what we do.
Kind of.
There are. I mean, any machine shop can do what we do. I think it comes down to people. That's what sets us apart.
Yeah, without a doubt. I agree with you 100%.
The sense of urgency, the drive, just our approach. I think, like I said, any machine shop can turn bolts and machine these geometries out of steel, but we bring a little something different to the table.
We just love doing it.
Yeah, agree.
We got good people. We got good machinists. We got, we're in the mecca of metal.
So Mecca,
The mecca
of metal,
the land of metal.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more metal in Houston than any other city in the country?
I would bet Ningbo, China.
No, in the country.
The country.
Houston, Texas has more metal.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, maybe you get up into Pennsylvania, which used to be the steel capital of the world.
But not really.
But then you're talking about plate and stuff like that.
Which is heavy.
You're talking about round bar, right?
I think there's a lot of plate in town.
But
there's a lot of fabric.
Would there be a higher concentration somewhere else?
No.
Probably yes.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
How can we verify this? Right?
I don't know. Let's maybe call some
Scott
some of our distributors. Probably. Maybe.
I bet he would. He's in tune. The whole metals market.
I don't know. That dude, he's got nine toes off the toe. But if you think like Chicago is a round bar capital, Chicago was the center of round bar for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of shifted. You have a lot of manufacturing on the East Coast for aerospace, a lot of manufacturing on the West Coast for aerospace. So there's a lot of bar suppliers.
But you may be right. You very well may be right.
I think this is
even, you look at the number of vessels that are made here. You're going to roll plate for that.
Exactly. Vessels, heat exchangers. Oh,
yeah.
Tulsa, Oklahoma is probably
high concentrations are probably in the Gulf Coast. Maybe not Houston. If it's not Houston, it's another city along the Gulf Coast.
I think this is it.
You got Beaumont. You got Baton Rouge.
But no one's talking about. So this is the spot.
Fab shops.
Yes. But as far as distributors, this is the spot. Short and sweet today. We're going to have Alex on.
Yeah, he had an emergency order pop up, so he could not join us. So
what was it?
No, but we're planning.
It's probably had to go.
We were planning to have him come on and talk about a technical topic on hoses. Since that didn't work, we had to throw together this little cash group, heady finish pattern discussion.
It's fun to argue about it.
Mm-hmm.
I like arguing.
I hope we get some discussion on this. That'd be kind of cool to start a little banter.
To just get people's opinion. And there's no right or wrong. Or maybe there is a right or wrong.
Yeah. Even if you're a competitor and you want to, call us out for not knowing, that would be
fun. We should have a competitor on. And we should have a debate. Why, that'd be kind of
we could do that. Yeah.
And
I'm not scared.
Who is scared? Would you do the debating?
I'd do it. Yeah.
Because you are the master debater.
Yeah. I am a master debater.
Absolutely.
I was hand raised.
Right.
What's that, Austin? Indiana?
Is what?
Indiana would have the highest concentration of steel?
Wrong. That's so wrong. So Newcastle, I think it's Newcastle. They have.
See, I was thinking Pennsylvania. Build mills up there.
When was that published? 2002. So it's not the. Really? That's hard to believe. Indiana, there's Newcastle. It's a big plate mill. I've been to it before. Mm-hmm. It's badass, but that's a plate mill. That's just one mill. I don't think so. Allegheny is in Carolina. So you got Allegheny over there as well. And then the old Ottacompu, I can never pronounce the new name, Marcialaga or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Next week, we will have Alex on.
Alex Hoover.
We're going to catch up on the hose technical topic.
Check out the slick black.
Yep. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. On Sunday.
And, if you don't have any kids out there, you might have them.
Yeah.
They just haven't claimed.
Yeah. Look them up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend.